So what is the secret formula for hitting long drives? It's to hit up on the ball, launch the ball high, spin it low, and we can see there 260 yards carry and 284 total. So the 2-second tip has already happened, but the key thing is, did you spot it? So what most golfers understand is that, like I've discussed there, we need to get that club traveling up through impact with a centered strike to get that high launch, low spin and maximize our distance. And the way a lot of golfers understand that we're going to do that is that we put the ball much further forward in our stance. They then move the club in behind the golf ball, but unfortunately then do this. And even though it's a great strike, the low point moves ahead of the golf ball, the club's travel down, spin was still nice and low because it was a good strike, but carries way back at 195 and total at 244. So even though a lot of golfers will say there, well, I moved the ball forward like I've been told, get myself set, but the first thing we need to make sure when that ball moves forward is that we maintain or even exaggerate our shoulder tilt. So we're always going to have lead shoulder higher than trail shoulder, and the ideal thing for that is the hand is lower. And we might even bump the hips that way a little bit more. But what we tend to see with a lot of golfers is as they move the club in behind the golf ball, they move the shoulders a little bit more level. And we can see as I do that, as my shoulders get level, I swing more to the left, and then unfortunately as I'm swinging more left, the lowest point of my golf swing moves ahead of the golf ball. The path moves more to the left. And even though I squared things up really nicely there to get that in play, most golfers get that pull, that slice, and just really, really struggle to hit good golf shots. So the key is, yes, we want to move the ball forward in the stance, but the simple tip is instead of getting the club right up behind the golf ball, keep the club maybe 4, 5, even 6 inches behind. So it still feels like the club's a bit more in line with your sternum, because what a lot of golfers do is as the ball's forward, during the swing, they then chase to get that sternum in line with the golf ball. The low point of the golf swing tends to be opposite that armpit, and that moves ahead of the golf ball. So the first thing you need to do, start that club further behind, get that nice spine tilt, and as you swing down into the golf ball, you're not going to let the upper body chase towards the ball. You're going to feel that as you move that pressure into that lead foot, the lead foot pushes down into the ground, it keeps that upper body back behind the golf ball, and straight away we should see, even if I were to take a little bit of speed out of the golf swing, we should see the club hitting up on the ball a bit more. So we can see club head speed down at just under 100. Angle of attack 4 degrees up, low point 6 inches behind. And even though there the spin was a little bit too low for that speed, still carried 221 and rolled out 262. So remember, if you want more efficiency with driver, irrelevant of club head speed, we need that club traveling up through impact. And that little tip instantly will get you doing that. Now, if you want to make sure you maximize your accuracy and distance, keep watching because this is really, really important. So as we get the club traveling more up into the golf ball, yes, that's great for distance, but what you'll see down the line is as the club's moving down, it's traveling from the inside, then it reaches the low point, and then as it's traveling up, it actually moves a little bit more left, which is out to in. So the danger for a lot of golfers is when they do this movement pretty well, they get that shape. The path becomes massively out to in, and even though there might be more potential distance in there, the accuracy really drops off. So the bonus tip, not just for getting more distance, but then to be even more accurate, is instead of making sure everything's perfectly square, we're going to drop that trail foot back, maybe move the lead foot a little bit closer to encourage you swinging a bit more to the right from the inside, so that when the low point's behind, the path's going to be more neutral, and that should give you a straighter golf shot. So we're going to make that little adjustment at setup, start back behind the ball, and even taking some speed out there, so 101 mile an hour, we can see hitting up 3 degrees, launching a touch on the low side, spin still very low at 2000, but carry at 240, and then total at 274. Now I know loads of you out there will say, I'll be delighted with 274. Thing is with golfers, this is only through experience, and you can comment below if you don't agree with me. Once you start maximising your distance at your speed, the brain thinks, come on, there's definitely more in the locker, and I'm as guilty as everyone with that. So, once you get comfortable with that, then just consciously think about being a little quicker. So we're going to make that adjustment at setup, close that stance off, start behind, and then really try and swing the club a little quicker. Strike, not quite as good. Fractionally towards the toe. It's a smidge quicker at just under 103. Hitting up 4.6 degrees. The toe strikes kept the spin off, but we can see 247 and 280 total. Now, definitely for me at the moment, just not managing to create the kind of speed I want, but one final one. Want to see if I can get near a 108 club head speed with that delivery, which would give me that magic 300 yards. And I'm talking total at the moment, not even carry, which is my end goal. So, close the stance off, got set. That felt ripped. 105 club speed, low point 6.9 behind, hitting up 4.8 degrees, launching at 13.6, spinning at 1800, carry at 264, and total at 292. So you can see, starting that club back behind the ball, closing that stance off is going to get you hitting driver longer and straighter than ever before. And it was a 2-second tip, but it took me a little bit longer to give you that bonus feature.